Nigeria Center for Disease Control records 57 new cases of COVID-19. Southeast governors set up joint security outfits to ban open grazing. In international news, Brazil still ravaged by COVID-19 as Sao Paulo forced to hire mothers to enforce coronavirus protocols at schools. And in sport, Nigeria's Efe Ajagba records massive knockout victory.
This is ANN News.
I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has confirmed 57 new cases of COVID-19 in the country on Sunday, bringing the total infections number to 163,793. The health agency also announced the discharge of 154,107 cases and 2,060 deaths across the country. NCDC data also reviewed nearly 2 million persons have been tested so far. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) has exposed those producing and selling dangerous chemicals used in food and drinks, supposedly to enhance the taste. This procedure had earlier killed 3 persons who had after consumed adulterated flavored drinks in Kano State. NAFDAC Director General Professor Mojisola Adeyeye has warned against adding chemicals or additives taste enhancer to food and drinks. She says such practice could result in severe illness and even death. Adeyeye said the agency would stop at nothing to ensure that only safe food and other regulated products are available in the markets for consumption. Just like their counterparts in the Southwest, Southeastern state governors have come together to set up a joint security outfit, codenamed Ebubiagu, which means Wonderful Tiger. The governors made the resolution in a communique during the first Southeast Security Summit in Owerri on Sunday. The communique was presented by Chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum and Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi. The governor says the security outfit is headquartered in Enugu to coordinate the vigilance group in the state. The governors also resolved to ban open grazing and instructed security agencies to enforce the ban in their states. The meeting was attended by Governors Okeze Ikpeazu of Abia State, Willie Obiano of Anambra State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State, and Hope Uzodimma of Imo, as well as heads of various security agencies in the states. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde and Ekiti State former Governor Ayodele Fayose are contending the leadership of their party, People's Democratic Party, in the Southwest. The party's Southwest Zonal Congress is underway in Osogbo, Osun State capital, following weeks of muscle flexing and war of words over who takes the party's mantle of leadership in the Southwest. Both men forced PDP National Secretariat to move the venue of the Congress from Ibadan, Oyo State capital, to Osun State capital, Osogbo. While Makinde preferred Lagos, Fayose wanted Ogun State. The PDP screening committee had cleared 33 names to vie for elective posts in the Congress. The North Central Zonal Congress in Kaduna ended abruptly when thugs attacked the venue and carted away ballot boxes. Zamfara State former Governor Alhaji Abdulaziz Yari says he will ensure State Governor Bello Matawale loses his seat if he defects to the All Progressives Congress. Yari says this will happen with the backing of the Supreme Court verdict, which he said nullified the election of APC candidates in 2019 and announced the PDP candidates as winners. He said those PDP candidates will remain in power till 2023. Yari said Matawale is being misled by some people to join the APC and that he had forgotten the circumstances that propelled him to the governorship of the state. A Sultan of Sokoto and President of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Said Abubakar III, has advised Nigerian Muslims to look out for the moon of Ramadan from Monday. Abubakar made the announcement on Sunday in a statement issued by Professor Sambo Junadu, chairman of the Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sokoto Sultanate Council. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, observed by Muslims worldwide as a month for fasting, prayer, reflection, and assisting the needy. Coming up, African stories. SADC calls for common efforts in fighting terrorism in Mozambique. And later, international news. Brazil still ravaged by COVID-19 as Sao Paulo forced to hire mothers to enforce coronavirus protocols at schools.
You are watching ANN.
Hello, mommy.
My son,
Good evening, ma.
how are you?
I'm fine, ma. Yeah, I'm just about to go on stage right now. Wish me luck.
Good luck, my dear. May it be well with you.
Man.
I pray your show goes very well.
Man, mommy, before I forget, have you linked your NIN to your MTN line? Because I always have to keep reminding you, mommy, and I cannot risk not having your prayers.
But I don't know how to do it.
Mommy, it's as simple as saying MTN. All you need to do is dial star 785 star your NIN hash with your MTN line. Simple.
Staying connected to family, friends, and colleagues has never been easier. Link your NIN to your MTN line now.
Hello, mommy.
My son, I have done it. It is very easy, just like you said.
You see, mommy, I told you.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. The just concluded round of talks in Kinshasa among Sudan, Egypt, and Ethiopia on the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam has deadlocked and no progress appears in sight. Correspondent Girum Chala has the story.
Foreign Affairs and Water and Irrigation Ministers of Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan attended the latest round of GERD talks. The three countries failed to strike a deal on the filling and operation of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Ethiopia said no deal will be signed if it attempts to hamper Ethiopia's water rights.
We don't hide anything. Ethiopia is transparent in all. But Ethiopia doesn't also foreclose its future development because of GERD rules and guidelines. It has to be a real rules and guidelines where everybody wins out of these rules and guidelines. Not, seriously hamper the future operation of Ethiopia's dam, or imply anything in terms of preventing Ethiopia from developing its resource within its equitable and reasonable utilization of the Abai River.
Ethiopia also said an attempt was made by Egypt and Sudan to walk away from the African Union-led negotiations.
What is proposed? Number one, to try to diminish the AU role, to be as if a co-facilitator with other parties. Number two, move the well-defined observer role to something else, like equal facilitators with our president of the union. We really thought about this. This is not appropriate. This undermines the integrity of the African Union.
The three parties are now expected to meet again around the 20th of April for roundtable talks. Ethiopia's Minister of Water, Irrigation and Energy says an agreement is still possible.
I still call upon my Egyptian and Sudanese colleagues, especially the water affairs ministers, really, let's converge on the data exchange, let's converge on the first feeling, that those things have no political implication. I think let's conclude those and move on those more complex and water right issues, treaty issues, water sharing issues, and so on, how we could resolve them in a win-win manner.
Addis Ababa expects the filling of its dam reservoir to take 4 to 7 years. Officials say the plan may even help Sudan with flooding by holding back excess water from the Nile River. Ethiopia is committed to proceeding with the second round of filling in the next wet season, something Egypt and Sudan are in disagreement with and don't want it done without a clear agreement. Ethiopia believes this plan is in line with the agreed declaration of principles and so won't be any foul play.
Vote counting has begun in Benin Republic following Sunday's general election that was boycotted by some opposition parties. Benin President Patrice Talon has lauded the conduct of Sunday's elections, saying his country had proven expertise in managing elections. The incumbent Talon is widely expected to win the elections. And reports say turnout was low, with several polling stations in the capital reporting low levels of participation. Violent protests broke out, triggered by objections to President Patrice Talon's quest for a second 5-year mandate. At least 2 protesters were killed in Save when Benin soldiers fired shots in the central town of Bante on Thursday. Benin has a population of 12 million and became Africa's top cotton exporter in 2018. Provisional results of the first round of the election are expected by April 13. After the extraordinary double Chuoka summit in Maputo, Mozambique capital, late last week, the Southern African Development Community has decided to join forces to tackle the security situation in Mozambique's northern Cabo Delgado province. The body says the current situation there is unacceptable.
Such heinous attacks cannot be allowed to continue without a proportionate regional response.
Now, SADC has agreed that member countries will deploy a task force to Mozambique to analyze the type of support that would be needed to neutralize the terrorist offensive that has been linked to ISIS. After the more than 3-hour summit, Mozambique President Filipe Nyusi says the SADC region was now connected and knows what needs to be done. More than 700,000 persons have been displaced because of terrorist attacks in Mozambique's Gas Hub province. Kenya has opened a new government small arms factory in rural Kiambu County, a $40 million factory with a single shift annual production capacity of 12,000 assault rifles as part of a broad multi-agency national security industry strategy. The factory draws 60% of its input from local sources. Speaking at the unveiling ceremony, Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta said the country seeks to enhance its self-reliance in security through local production of equipment and technologies in line with the Big Four agenda and Vision 2030.
To the company, I tell you that COVID-19 and the resulting supply shocks have without doubt taught us that international supply chains are fragile and indeed very vulnerable to disruption. And as with pharmaceuticals, personal protective equipment, medical equipment generally, Kenya has identified a compelling urgency to create domestic production, and this also applies
a weapons manufacturing surplus that will transform the country into an exporter of security equipment. When we return, international news. Brazil still ravaged by COVID-19 as Sao Paulo forced to hire mothers to enforce COVID-19 protocols at schools. And later, sport. Nigeria's FA at Jagba records massive victory.
You are watching ANN.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. Chinese officials are calling for the improvement of coronavirus vaccine development, with the country having administered more than 160 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines so far. Correspondent Wang Mengjiu has more.
The National Health Commission says more needs to be done with COVID-19 jab development moving forward.
The protective abilities of a vaccine will be impacted by factors like epidemic strength in certain regions, immune procedures, and different strains. It is varied based on different principles.
Officials say one new route of development is the production of a China-produced mRNA vaccine. In December 2020, the construction of China's first mRNA COVID-19 vaccine production plant started in southwest China's Yunnan province. On Thursday, Shanghai's self-developed mRNA COVID-19 vaccine started clinical trials among adults. It cooperated with China's CDC in an R&D process that began in early 2020. Currently, China has approved 5 vaccines. 3 by Sinopharm and Sinovac are inactivated vaccines, while CanSino makes 8 novel vector ones. The latest vaccine was jointly developed by the Chinese Academy of Science and Anhui Zhifei Longcom Biopharmaceutical. Experts say China has been studying various measures to increase COVID-19 vaccine efficacy while accelerating the country's mass vaccination program, including adjusting vaccination intervals, the dosage of each shot, or the number of shots each person should take.
A WHO team in China is working with Sinovac and Sinopharm vaccine producers for potential emergency use listings. The results are expected to be announced in late April. We're hoping to get all the clear soon in order to benefit more countries.
China is improving vaccinations for focus groups in key areas, but officials have also warned a one-size-fits-all solution is unacceptable.
As COVID-19 continues to ravage Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil's biggest city, has hired 5,000 mothers of students attending municipal schools to help enforce COVID-19 safety protocols as schools resume limited operations. It's also a move to try and mitigate unemployment in the city. Correspondent Paulo Cabra has this report.
Elisângela de Moraes has 2 children in the São Paulo Municipal School, and now she's working here to help to keep it safe for her children and all the other students.
My work here is to ensure protocols are being followed. We help the children with their face masks and remind them not to touch their eyes. And the kids are following the protocols. We should even congratulate parents because they seem to have learned well.
Elisângela is part of a contingent of 5,000 mothers that have been hired by the city of São Paulo to help safeguard COVID-19 protocols as municipal schools reopened with limited capacity amid the pandemic.
The other mothers of children from our school get a feeling that it will also be safer for their children if it's also one of the mothers from the school that's caring for them.
São Paulo schools hiring mothers serves a dual purpose. It helps schools enforce COVID-19 safety protocols and helps these women earn some extra money in a time of high unemployment.
I am a homemaker who only had some occasional work, so this is a good opportunity for me. It's coming at a very critical moment.
But São Paulo's civil servants trade union opposes the move and any school openings for that matter.
It's important to fight unemployment in the city of Sao Paulo, but using this to keep schools open without the proper conditions only shows a lack of responsibility of education authorities.
There's no way to ensure 100% safety from COVID-19, but these mothers seem to be doing their best to allow the city's children to return to their classrooms.
Russia's presidential press secretary, Dmitry Peskov, has said on Sunday the country would not go to war with Ukraine and would not accept any possibility of war. This was to allay fears over the current situation in eastern Ukraine's Donbas region, which he has characterized as dangerous and which he said could ignite a civil war at any time. Peskov says in an interview, the use of force by Ukrainian leaders to solve domestic problems once again cannot be ruled out and would be quite dangerous for Russia. He said his country has been voicing concerns over the tense situation in the Donbas region, which he said could ignite the flames of a civil war and overnight internal conflicts in Ukraine. He told the Western media not to be concerned about Russia's domestic troop deployment. He said Russia poses no threat to any other country and will not go to war with Ukraine. He said Russia has never been involved in the conflict in the Donbas region, but that it will not be indifferent to the fate of Russians or Russian-speaking people who live in southeastern Ukraine. Up next, sport. Nigeria's Efe Ajagba records massive knockout victory. Please stay with us.
You are watching ANN. Somewhere in the world, every second of the day, news is happening. And of course, Nigeria is bustling with news day and night. That is why ANN doesn't sleep. Our eyes are peeled, wide open, so no story escapes our radar. We stay abreast of world events and happenings at home. We keep you up to the minute in the world of sports. We give you information to stay on top of your investments and all the hard facts you need to navigate your day. If you miss us on air, you can keep up to date on our website and on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. We are ANN, African News Network. We do news right in a truly African spirit.
We are on the road every day, canvassing throughout Africa for news you really need. We follow the story everywhere, from every corner of Nigeria to the wide African expanse. We bring you what's making headlines. We connect you with news you can use. ANN, African News Network, in a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. In sport, Nigerian boxer Efe Ajagba started off his 2021 fight campaign by stopping Brian Howard with a dangerous right hand to the air to add another knockout record to his professional boxing career. It was the 12th knockout win in 15 fights for the former Olympian since he turned pro in 2017. Olympiacos has won the 46th Greek Super League title with a 3-1 derby win over Panathinaikos on Sunday. Panathinaikos had taken a 1-0 lead in the 30th minute with a penalty by Italian forward Federico Macheda. That is ANN News this evening. Thank you for joining us. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, ANNAfrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Have a great evening.